Hello out there, Facebook. It is once again Chief Operating Officer for the DYPU platform, Sharon Frochen, coming to you this evening to talk to you about what is a reboot and is there a chance that you need one? So those who know me know that my coaching business, known as the Phoenix Reboot, what I deal with almost exclusively is the ability to reboot the human being. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by rebooting a human being? So, as I shared in one of my lives earlier this week, I was a drug addict who didn't have a home of my own, didn't own anything, had a minimal amount of money coming in from the VA every month, whether I was homeless or not. And I was at an all-time bottom. Now, most of the time when you think of a bottom, what you think of is pain. And we have been taught as a society to avoid pain. But that pain drove me to a point that I had never been to before. As I discussed, I'm the eldest child of an extremely religious family. My father was a pastor at the time of my birth. And growing up, I never felt connected to God. I just didn't. I didn't feel connected. So as I got older, my life developed along the lines of me being responsible for everything. I'm responsible. And when I wasn't able to keep that up, I blamed God because God should have shown up for me. And in my estimation, God didn't. So when I hit that low in my life, and that low wasn't that I didn't have a home, it wasn't that I didn't have money, it wasn't that I didn't have a car, it wasn't that I didn't have a job. That low was an emotional low. That low was the moment I looked in the mirror, one horribly ugly, filthy, dirty mirror in a dismal gas station in Los Angeles, and realized for the first time in almost a decade that I couldn't see a soul in my eyes anymore. Whatever it was that makes us human, whatever it is that makes us light up when we're happy or get intense when we're passionate, that was gone. I could look into my eyes forever and see nothing but blackness. And in that one moment, that moment of absolute terror and panic, what came out of the pastor's daughter's mouth was, "If you're really out there, please come get me." Now, did I have the capacity to say something like that on the other side of that fear? And the answer is no, I did not. Because if I had had that ability, I think I would have done it before I robbed my family. I think I would have done it before I spent 3 months in jail and ran myself into two violent felonies and a life of explaining things to employers. I think I would have done it then. So the fact that I didn't do it then tends to indicate that I didn't have what I needed then to do it. So is it true that pain is actually our friend? And I want to tell you that unequivocally, yes, it is. I think it was Beth Gray and I that were talking possibly last night on the live that we did about how the actual energy of emotion lasts in our body for 90 seconds maximum. And yet, how many of us will spend 90 days, some of us 90 months, even as far as 90 years, avoiding those 90 seconds? Because we don't know how to handle pain. We haven't been taught. We've been raised, especially in Western society, in these belief systems that pain somehow has to do with your worth and with your performance. No pain, no gain. If you work hard, you're going to hurt, right? But there's going to be a reward to that, so that makes the pain okay. But we're kind of taught on the other side of that, that when it comes to the pain of working on ourselves, and when it comes to the pain of actually addressing what's wrong with us, that that's something that should just be left to medication, because it's hard and it hurts. But the truth is, the pain in your life not only is your greatest teacher, the pain in your life is also your greatest springboard. When we hurt more than we are comfortable, we will change unequivocally. It is that point when our comfort level is no longer exceeding our pain level that we'll change, and not until then. I was having a discussion with my brother on Facebook today, who's a PhD candidate in gerontology at USC, about addiction and about the way that society in general treats addiction, how we have this tendency, especially in socioeconomic groups such as minorities, to basically set up the ability for this person to become an addict and then shame them just nonstop about arriving exactly where we engineered them to be. And the truth is, when I think of addiction and when I think of my addiction, what I think of is a repeating and very well dug in limiting belief system that runs on its own in the background, which is, I need this to be okay, fill in the blank. I need X to be okay. And we can get addicted to anything, literally anything. We can be addicted to drinking. We can be addicted to drugs. We can get addicted to meditation. There are certain types of meditation that cause such a biological change in the body that it's possible to mentally become addicted to that effect. We can become addicted to a car. We can become addicted to a person, to money, to gambling, to shopping. We can become addicted to food. We can become addicted to anything because we are the first society in the history of mankind to openly and as a societal norm shun the divine. Now, even when we're arguing about whose God is the real God, we're still arguing about God. But when we reach this point, especially after the dropping of the bomb that changed our humanity to such an intense level, for now I have become this destroyer of worlds. After that change in our humanity, we could never go back. Because now I have stepped into the feet and the shoe prints of God. I am the destroyer of worlds. And if you look back historically towards World War II, you can see all of the policy that we created in abject terror. That's not the time to be doing policy as countries, but that's what we did. And now here we find ourselves. We put ourselves in a situation where we shunned our power. We shunned the ability to connect to our power. And we made it so that discussing that power in public would reap mockery and disdain. And now we find ourselves sitting here wondering why we have no power. We engineered it that way. So a reboot is the ego being brought to its knees with such sufficient force that we will return to our power. We will go back. We will look with fresh eyes, and we will change. What so many of us have been robbed of in our lives is the idea that we are the divine clothed in flesh. We are not mistakes. We are not accidents. We are not hapless primates who crawled out of a primordial ooze. We are intentions from the divine. Every bit of you is an intention, from the color of your hair and the count of your hair follicles to the thickness of your fingernails and the size of your mouth. All of it with purposeful intention and joy. And we threw that knowledge away to explore our power as human beings, separate from the divine. And look what we've done. We live in a society where we don't want to care for the sick or the poor. or we want to pass that all off to a nanny state. We don't want to face what's wrong. We want to hide our heads in the sand. We want to be offended at everything, whether or not it really is offensive in the first place. We want to divide ourselves by gender and race and religion and 101 other labels that society has so generously supplied us with. And yet at the core of it all, what we're all looking for, what we're all dying for, is connection. Is for you to know that I've seen you, and for me to know that you've seen me. There are countless scientific studies that have been done and are being done that show that addiction, many physical ailments such as diabetes, can be traced back to a lack of connection. How can diabetes be traced back to a lack of connection? We eat and eat and eat and eat and eat horribly poisoned food to fill holes that food will never fill, with calories that we will never absorb because it was not made to be digested by the human body. And we put on fat and we gain weight and we hate ourselves and we decide what will and won't be okay based upon what size of clothing that you wear. Where has our humanity gone? Where have we gone? Here at Discover Your Path U, the whole point in creating this platform is a return to that one thing that we are so desperate for: connection. Every life can teach. Every experience that you have had, as Karen said, that has changed your life and affected you, you can use to affect the lives of others. None of our experiences or our pain has to go unused or wasted. We can choose to create out of our own pain a tapestry of love and connection and community and service. But it is a choice. And we want to provide you a community in which you can make that choice. If you're a Christian, you are welcome. If you're a Muslim, you are welcome. If you're a Buddhist, you are welcome. If you're Jewish, you are welcome. It does not matter what religion you aspire to. What matters is that you are with us, shoulder to shoulder, seeking answers, seeking to be exactly who and what you are, so that the lives of those in your community, your family, your friends, that they will be changed by your example. Because as Marianne Williamson says, when we embody the divine, we give those about us permission to do the same. We have been lied to and told that this has to be hard, and it does not. We have been lied to and told that we have to struggle and strain for a life full of pain and heartache, only to hope that in the end, there will be something that we worked for. And that is a lie. We can have connection now. We can have love now. We can have brotherhood now, but it is a choice to change our mindsets and to abandon the old belief systems and old ideas of separation from the divine, from each other, from ourselves. That is why we have created this platform. Because each of us in our own way has experienced having our divinity shut down to make other people comfortable. And we wanted to give a space and to have for ourselves, in all honesty, a space where that will not happen. Where who you are as a triune being, body, mind, and spirit, will have voice, will have function, will have room, and will have respect. So join us. The chances are that every single one of us will need multiple reboots throughout our lives, and the best place I can think of for you to come and find the tools to perform that reboot is at Discover Your Path U. Study Reiki, study NLP, sit down with our instructor Sandra and get an incredible meditation to take you back to who you really are. Sit down with Justin and go through one of his NLP techniques that helps you reframe a memory and change pain that has plagued you for decades. Join us. Join us in working on ourselves and being of service to others, knowing that what we give, what we sow, we will also reap, that it is a universal law that cannot be escaped or thwarted. So join us in creating a community where who you are spiritually is not judged, where you are given room to be yourself and to share that unique aspect of the divine that you have, that only you have, and that no one else ever will have. Join us. Not to take cookie cutter courses where we all figure out how we can best be like the guru who put them out, but where we can meet in real time and discuss our real problems and make real change in our real lives. That is the community that we want to give you. So if that sounds good to you, if making a change, a permanent change in our lives, each of us, that will affect our community as a collective, our individual lives, families, friends, and individual communities, join us. Let us help you get back to believing in who and what you are without judgment or disdain. Because that's ultimately what every human being craves and what every human being needs. The freedom to be themselves. So, I would like to thank you for joining me as I surprisingly rambled on much longer than I was expecting to and possibly cried, although you can't hold me to it. I just want to thank you for spending this time with me on a Friday evening, because Lord knows you probably have better things to be doing. My hope for you is that you have a wonderful evening full of restful sleep, that you wake up tomorrow refreshed and ready to handle your amazing life. I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful weekend. Mwah.